All right, hello everyone, and here we are as we're diving into this topic of distractions. It's one of my favorite. It might be painful for some. It's okay if you're wanting to grow because pain is good. Just means we're disrupting some comfort zones, okay? So I love this picture. I love this picture. She's got her laptop up, she's got the phone. There's probably a TV going on in the background, and she is locked into her external world. And if I asked her, hey, let's call her Lucille, Lucille, what's going on in your heart right now? How are you feeling right now? She might not really know how to tune into that, and she could probably care less because right now her focus is with the five senses and it's on her external world. And this is the question that I pose here: what distracts you? And we're going to talk about several different kinds of distractions, and I will even share a few of my own with you as well. A question that I want, and I'm going to invite you to reflect upon as we dive into this video, is if you ignore your heart conversations, so if I distract myself, will they automatically just change on their own? Will these thoughts and feelings and beliefs just just change? Do I just need to distract myself more, engage in my external world more? One of the things, I don't even know that you would call it a thing, one of the presuppositions that I'm proposing to you in the book, The Power of Heart Conversations, and in this video, is that you create how you experience your world. And we're talking about how what in nature grows from the outside in. Everything grows from the inside out. So in this module or in this video, we're exposing what is distracting us, what's getting our attention off of our internal world, when it's our internal world that is creating our experience, our frustrations, our insecurities, our feelings of joy, our feelings of peace, our anger, our powerlessness, whatever they may be. I guarantee you that it's a result of heart conversations that are going on inside, even if you're unaware, which most are, until we start learning how to become more aware of them. I have a couple of questions here as we think about the condition of our heart, because this is what leads us to distracting ourselves from even wanting to take a look at our heart. And I can get that because anger and resentment and unforgiveness are really, really painful. And I chose a picture here of hardened soil. This is what soil that's dry looks like. And in our last video, we were talking about how important it is to treat our heart like a garden, to where it's watered and weeded and nurtured. It makes it really, really difficult to do so when a heart is hardened like this and closed off and not open. The second image, I chose this one because I thought it was a perfect example of this seeking to protect by rehearsing the pain. It's almost like this is a stone figure, and the stoniness of our heart is when we attempt to try to protect our heart. And many times we rehearse the pain, and when we rehearse the pain, we rehearse and justify the reason for our pain, and we use it as a form of protection. And in this third image, I have, well, I don't know. I'm oblivious to the heart conversations that are driving me. I don't know. I just like this TV show. I don't know. I know I spend hours and hours and hours in front of a TV or in front of the computer or whatever it may be, or work myself to the ground. I don't know what my heart conversations are. I don't know what's driving me. My goodness, Tonya. And so, my next reflective question is, did Jesus invite us to live this way? Did he invite us to live with a heart that was hardened and closed off to the very presence of God, filled with anger and resentment and unforgiveness? Did he invite us to live this life where we sought protection in our own strength and in our own ways and in our own survival strategies? Did he teach us to be ignorant of our inner world? No, to any of them, right? He spoke so much on the importance of understanding of what was going on inside of you. For example, he would say, if you clean the inside of the cup, the outside will be clean. It's not what goes into a man from the outside. It's what's going on the inside. He also said things like, your mouth will be a clear reflection of what is going on in your heart. And he said things like, yeah, you may not have physically murdered someone, but if you have murder in your heart, if you have hate in your heart, then you've already murdered. Yes, you may not have slept with him and you may not have slept with her, but if you have lusting in your heart after someone's wife or husband, you've already committed adultery. There's so many ways that he looked at and said and gave value to, and matter of fact said the starting point was inside, not outside. So he didn't invite us to live in this, I don't know what's going on inside of me and I don't care. He didn't say, live with a hardened heart. He didn't say, have this stony heart for your protection. And let's look at this invitation not as one that is condemning, because there's zero. You see that? There's zero condemnation. This is a message of freedom. I want to expose how how the enemy uses distractions to keep the very life of God hidden inside of you, buried away under all this hardness and all of this pain. I have another reflective question. So, are you going to create something new, or are you going to remain the same, just wishing for something new to happen? I know I'm inviting you to be a creator. I'm inviting you to create new heart conversations with God, and we will discuss that in more detail a couple more videos down the road. But right now, I just want to whet your appetite for this, and I want us to start thinking about, oh my goodness, I am to have a part in creating a new heart conversation if I want to truly experience life. I have heard this said before, and let's walk through this. I've heard people say it. Uh, I don't even think about my past anymore. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't hold me back. What are you talking about, Tonya? Well, I put this collage together because I thought it gave us a variety of ways that we distract ourselves from what is really going on inside of us. When we don't want to be aware of how we're thinking and how we're feeling, then we can distract ourselves, right, with our phone. We can watch endless, mindless hours of TV. Anybody overeat or eat just because? And not just eat just because, but you eat foods that you know do not produce life or energy, and then you feel bad about it, and then you just eat more. These are distractions. This one down on the bottom left, she has worked herself to exhaustion. She has distracted herself with so much work and so much productivity. The adrenaline that comes, the dopamine hits that come from one win after another win after another win has finally ran its course, and she is passed out asleep. She has had enough, right? That's a distraction from what is going on inside. Arguing, fighting, blaming the other person. When I am blaming someone or something outside of myself, I am distracting myself from my own fears. I am distracting myself from becoming aware of how I'm currently feeling. And what I'm thinking. And then, of course, we know any kind of substances that alter our state, that is a distraction. It's a distraction from the internal world, which must be painful, or we would not be trying to distract ourselves from it. Same images here, but I'm asking, what distracts? What distracts you from being alone with your heart in God's presence? What pain are you trying to ease by connecting to your external world? I feel like pausing there for a moment because these questions may be difficult for you to really process, or just to think about if you're living with a lot of shame, or this is bringing light to something you never thought about before. But I hope, it's my hope, that this is very freeing for you to begin to see that, oh my goodness, I'm distracting myself. I'm keeping the pain alive. I'm keeping the unfruitful, the painful, non-life-giving heart conversations alive by distracting myself. I think there have been many distractions in my life over the years. It used to be TV. It used to be, oh my goodness, always had to have music on. And back in the day, it was always had to have some kind of Christian music or worship on, because I thought that was a good thing. And I'm not saying that Christian music is a bad thing. I'm not saying that worship is a bad thing, but when you use it to distract yourself from really being present with God, you're using it as a buffer, you're using it as a distraction. I think lately, the ways that I'm catching myself distract myself from feelings of, whether it be insecure and growing as a businesswoman, when I'm feeling at a loss for what to do next, if I'm feeling overwhelmed with really taking action in a way that brings more exposure. For example, making sure that I'm providing valuable content and I'm connecting with you on a regular basis, I can distract myself with, oh, I need to learn something over here. Or, oh, let me watch another video, another training video. Maybe I need to learn more about marketing before I actually get online. Maybe I need to know what social media platforms I'm going to be on. And guys, the list can be endless. And then I can get all caught up in that productivity and use it as a distraction to distract from the very fears and heart conversations that are going on. One of the things that I'm learning to do is to stop and allow myself to be present. Another thing is the eating, finding myself eating foods that I don't normally eat. But when I'm feeling stressed, and maybe I don't even know I'm feeling stressed until I start eating more, until I start eating more of things that do not give life and I do not usually eat. When I start recognizing this, that's a good indication that it's time to pause and check in with my heart conversations. Let's go back to this slide here. So I ask again, what distracts you from being alone with your heart conversations in God's presence? Well, Tonya, I didn't even know I could just pause and bring my heart before God in His presence. Most definitely. Most definitely. Why, you don't have to be left with your own heart conversation all to yourself and then a lot of critical thinking. We want to get out of that. We want to break that cycle. And then again, this question, what pain are you trying to ease? What fear are you trying to put at bay by connecting to your external world? What are you trying to avoid? It will always come down to surrender. And this is from the book, and I'll read it here to you. It says, I know our carnal survival mind wants it to be something else other than surrendering to God. Your spirit longs to have you surrender to God. your, your spirit, the very life of Christ within you, longs to have you surrender to God. But that carnal mind, that mind that is enmity with God, that fallen nature, it is holding on, thinking the only way to live in this world is to survive in these survival, fearful states. And God is inviting us to surrender, because there's so much more. When you are in survival mode, it can be scary. It can be a scary thought to let go and enter into the unknown. But it's only scary until you begin to experience the peace and life, and I capitalize those for a purpose, peace and life that takes place when you dare to do so. When you begin to start tasting and seeing. I love how that goes. You taste, you experience, and you begin to see that the Lord is good. And the Lord is outside of those survival states. God's Spirit in His life is not in the survival state. It is not in the distractions. Now, of course, He's omniscient, so He's everywhere. But what I'm trying to say, when your focus is fearful and you're in the survival state, and so that is discomforting because you're not yielded to the life of God in that moment, then you're going to gravitate toward distractions to offset that pain. What I'm inviting you to is to surrender. And I love, look how peaceful she is. Do you see that? Look how peaceful and restful. That's the rest that we can enter into in our hearts, in our heart conversation, regardless of the circumstances, and learn how to live from this state. So here is your life work for today. I'm inviting you to take a moment to pause, turn off the noise, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, turn off the computer, turn it off. Just be still and ask yourself, what is distracting me from being fully present with my heart in God's presence? What am I allowing to distract me? And don't rush the answer. Just see if you can become aware of where this pull of distractions, what lures you. And I invite you to sit with it and let mercy do its work. Mercy, Scripture says, triumphs over judgment. So this isn't a time, a matter of fact, again, it's our carnal mind, it's that enmity in our mind that wants to accuse us and judge us and criticize us for even having distractions. And that is not the purpose of this video. It's not the purpose of this work. We are in the process of, and we're in this journey of letting go so we can truly allow the life of Christ to shine in our lives. So we let mercy, it should be, do its work. The question isn't whether or not you've been distracted. The real question is, are you ready to cultivate the soil of your heart to live free from distractions, to live present and fully alive in your own life? Let's look at that question one more time before we close out today. Are you ready to cultivate the soil of your heart to live free from distractions, present and fully alive in your own life? If we don't recognize our distractions, we will find ourselves living very haphazardly or limited. Maybe haphazard isn't the best word. Could be. Scattered, going from one distraction to another. And like in earlier videos, we talked about how the body just follows, it just follows your order. It just follows how the patterns that you set up in your life. So if you find yourself easily distracted by TV or extra work or overeating, whatever it may be, the body says, okay, I'm just along for the ride. The brain might get these dopamine hits that feel good and bring pleasure for the moment. But because it's not the real life of God bringing pleasure, because you're trying to offset pain with something external and distract from the heart conversations that are painful, it's short-lived. And from what I understand, that dopamine levels, they reach a threshold and then they need more. So one donut might not be enough. This time it might require two. Feels good at the moment, but how long does it last? My invitation to you in this video is to allow yourself to become aware of the distractions so that we can begin to surrender them, let them go, and sit with the discomfort. Set with knowing that God truly wants to reveal the heart conversations that are keeping you in pain and bound so that you can begin to release them and let them go. It truly is. I fully believe that it's His life in us desiring to seek expression. And it has been covered up with so many things that have brought us so much pain. And because we feel the pain, we just distract ourselves by staying connected in this external world. And that's not where the freedom is. The freedom begins in your heart. The freedom begins inside of you in those heart conversations. Let's learn how to transform them. Let's learn how to let go and grow more and more. In our next video, we're going to talk about how to prepare your heart for new conversations. I know it's taken us quite a bit of time as we worked up to this, but we're going to prepare our hearts for new conversations and how can we cultivate life-giving heart conversations ongoing, Tonya. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone.